Okay, well, good Football Friday, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is October 6th, 2023, 7:39 a.m., and we are in week 5 of the NFL season, the 2023-2024 season. It started last night in Washington, where the Bears finally get their first win. They get to 1-4. They knock the Washington Redskins down 40-20. Redskins are now 2-3. I'm sorry, I keep saying Redskins. It's the Commanders. Um, and Justin Fields, for the second week in a row, putting up some numbers. Last week he had a few touchdown passes. Last night I believe he had the same. He is, as you can see, improving. He is putting in. He's putting in the work. He is getting the production on the field. And last night it finally showed. I mean, let's be honest. They probably should have won last week, beat up 28-7 over the Denver Broncos, and then losing in overtime 31-28. So good for Justin Fields. And just building off of that, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, probably not the exact same career path, but, very picked very early in the draft. They're supposed to be the future, have not really panned out the way the teams have hoped and projected them to be or to do. But it seems like the last 2 weeks, I said this on the way home from the game on Sunday night, when they were going over Zach's stats from the game versus Kansas City. And I turned to my daughters and I said, Justin Fields did the same thing today and still lost the game just like Zach lost tonight. So, building on that, the Jets now face the Broncos, who came back against the Bears last week. And the Jets have a few things motivating them. So, first off, before we go into anything, I keep mentioning the Bears. Just want to say, very sorry to say, and probably a lot of people heard this, Dick Butkus, the legendary Bear defender, passed away yesterday at the age of 80. I don't remember watching Dick Butkus play. I don't think I ever saw him play. If I did, I was probably very, very, very young at that point, watching him on TV. But he comes from an era, where, yeah, it's just before the Klecko, Gastineau, Singletary, Lawrence Taylor era, definitely, where, I mean, it was just a brutal, I mean, it's a dangerous and brutal sport now, but back then the rules were so much less, protecting the quarterback, protecting the other players. The equipment wasn't like it was made now. So, rest in peace to Dick Butkus, and our condolences, our deepest condolences go out to his family and his friends, and of course the fans of the Chicago Bears and the NFL who followed him through his great career. And of course, after his football career, he was in, I believe, TV shows and movies and commercials. So, rest in peace to Dick Butkus. All right, so getting back to the game on Sunday, it's a 4:25 game out in Denver. I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers will be flying out there to be with the team and to be with Zach, maybe be in a headset with Zach. But from what I understand, he has been in the facility this week. It started last week on Saturday when he met with the team in the team hotel and addressed them. He was up he was on the sidelines prior to the game, and then he was up in the booth in Woody Johnson's suite during the game. He is talking like a man that's coming back in December or January. I don't see it, but he's aggressively working out and trying to rehab. So let's see. But that's just another topic to talk about on another day. Maybe we'll get into that at the bye week, because that may be where we find out some information. So anyway, the Jets are playing the Broncos. Usually not a big rivalry game. I remember, you know, they always seem to lose to the Broncos. Really, a few times I went in person to see them. There was one game opening day under the Pete Carroll era in '94 where the Jets beat them in overtime. Nick Lowry kicked a field goal to beat John Elway in overtime. Mo Lewis had a big interception return for a touchdown. I could still picture him picking the ball off and running away from us into the end zone. And then the rivalry really wasn't there until '98, and you could call it a rivalry. It was just The Broncos were in our way getting to the Super Bowl. We had a 10-point lead. Everybody knows the story. And then the things just flipped. The winds kicked in at Mile High. It was Elway's last game in Denver and last home game. And the Jets wound up relinquishing the lead. And, you know, basically Denver went on and rolled over the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. Since then, the teams have not been the best. They did, of course, Denver get to the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, but they weren't dominant as far as what they were when Elway was at the helm. They, right now, are a vulnerable team. They can be beat. Justin Fields showed you can pick them apart. But there's more to this game, and it's off the field. It's behind the X's and O's. It's the bulletin board material, if you will. So during the training camp or the preseason, Sean Payton came out and defended Russell Wilson like a good coach would, like Robert Sala's doing, you know, to the point where Sean Payton said it wasn't all Russell Wilson. The quarterback of that stature, two Super Bowls, one Super Bowl championship, doesn't just decline like that. It had to be his supporting cast, had to be the coaching staff. Throwing a dig at Nathaniel Hackett, who was the head coach last year, who I think resigned like week 15 during the season, I believe. Hackett, of course, now is brought over. He has a history with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator. So Sean Payton fires. Robert Saleh doesn't really fire back, but you can see that this game was circled on their calendar. Now, of course, when this all happened and it was circled on their calendar, Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. Now the offense is going to be run a little bit different than when Aaron Rodgers, obviously. So going into this game, this is a game that Denver needs to win. Denver, I believe, is 1-3. Let me just make sure. Yes, Denver is 1-3. They're at the bottom of the AFC West. They are tied with the Raiders. And then you have Kansas City at 3-1, obviously, and the Chargers at 2-2. My hopes, I don't know what the word is. What I'm hoping for is we see the Zach Wilson that we saw last week and have him even improve this week. I mean, let's be honest, he can only get better from what he showed us. Last week, they took the reins off Wilson. Now, yes, the weather was perfect. It was a Sunday night game. It was a slight breeze. There wasn't a speck of rain. There wasn't, any drop in the temperature. It was in the upper 60s, I believe, maybe lower 70s. And Zach had perfect conditions. And he had 105 quarterback rating. He had the 2 touchdown passes, and that second touchdown pass to Lazard. I'm looking at it sometimes. I've seen it a few times this week, and it was just a bullet, just a dart, and he got it to where only Lazard could catch it, and basically got it right past the defender. So I'm looking for progress from Zach moved into this week. If he plays as well as he played on Sunday night, there is no reason why they should not beat the Denver Broncos. We have a better defense than them. Russell Wilson is easily frustrated and flustered. We can get to him. I do know they said our defensive backs are a little dinged up, but there's no reason why we can't beat them, get the running game going, and just build on this and get that second win. Okay? Looking at the schedule, it does not get any easier for a few weeks. And when you're 1-3, no game is easy. No game should be taken for granted. I mean, you look at the Arizona Cardinals; they blew a tremendous lead to the Giants, and then they beat the Cowboys. So, you could say the cliches any given Sunday. Anybody can be beaten. No one is perfect, but right now in front of the Jets. They're flying out to Denver, and they have to put up a good game. They put up a solid game, but they have to come away with a win. They have to come away with a win. They have to get that second win, because you have Miami playing the Giants, and Miami coming off a demoralizing loss last week, losing by I believe 28 to the Bills. They're going to come out firing Miami. They're in front of their home team again, their home fans again. And Miami, don't forget, put up won by 50 points over the Broncos just 2 weeks ago. So the Broncos in 2 weeks gave up 78 points, but yet won one of those games. So points can be had. What I'd like to see is a lot more Breece Hall getting the ball, carrying the rock. Open up the offensive playbook again for Zach. What I haven't seen and what I'd like to see is those screenplays. Get your offensive lineman out in front of your running back or tight end or whoever you're running the screen to, a wide receiver screen or whatever, and have them make a pass for him. Instead of Zach having to look down the field, take the ball 2 steps, allow the defense to come in, dump it off, and then have your offensive lineman just make a pass for the ball carrier. That's what I would like to see. On defense, get to the quarterback. They got to Mahomes a few times last week. There is a video going around. I don't know if anybody has saw this, had seen this, but you have DJ Reed that looks like he's running 100 miles an hour after Mahomes, who Mahomes is basically in the stance ready to throw the ball, and Mahomes kind of moves a step, and DJ Reed goes by him like a blur and just misses him. If he actually makes contact with Mahomes, Mahomes goes probably through the turf at MetLife. So get on Russell Wilson, okay? Go after him. Force him to make plays. He is not the Russell Wilson that he was in Seattle. He's not. We have seen that last year. We are still seeing it this year. They got lucky last week. They beat a team that they should have beaten after spotting them 28 points. Okay? So that's what I'm looking at here. The talk this week on Sports Talk all week has been the development of Zach Wilson. That's been the talk since week 1, since Aaron Rodgers went down. But people are finally calling in and saying, okay, maybe he has it. Joe Namath, who last week after the New England game said he didn't want to see Zach Wilson on the field again. He should not be their quarterback. He sat down. He wasn't making plays. All he was doing was getting hit. He gave kudos to Zach and says, all right, I'm behind you again. Locally, too, people who were killing and destroying Zach are saying, well, you know what? The kid showed me something. It has to be consistent, okay? It has to be consistent. You can have that good game, and Kansas City is no slouch. So him playing well against Kansas City, obviously no slouch, means he could play well against any of them. He held his own against Buffalo. Let's be honest. He managed the game against Buffalo. And then our defense basically won that game and special teams. But he still had to get the ball down the field to get that touchdown, and he did that. So I'm hoping that, and I think all of us are Jet fans are hoping, he saw the field better last week, and now he's starting to get his confidence and get his rhythm. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Denver. The one thing you can see in October, this early in the season, they're not going to have any snow up there. I don't think there's going to be really any inclement weather. I don't know about rain. You always have to deal with wind up in Denver, but it should be a fairly pleasant day up there, and Zach needs to show us he can still do what he can do. I mentioned the Giants earlier, and I didn't realize this until a lot of Giant fans were calling into the local radio stations, disgusted about not only the performance of Daniel Jones and Saquon being injured again, but their schedule. So the Jets played 4 games. They had 2 at night, both of them at home. The Giants have played 4 games. They had 3 at night, 3 at prime time. 2 of them at home out of the 3. They've lost all 3. The only game that they won is the game that they went down to Arizona in Arizona and came back and beat them. Um, so I know the schedule makers, the NFL, you know, the schedule makers make it want to first of all make it lucrative for the league. They have big contracts with these networks. They want to put on teams that are going to be highlighted and followed. So besides the first Thursday night game, which is always the Super Bowl champs, you had the Sunday night game, Dallas at the Giants, and the Monday night game supposed to be the Aaron Rodgers game, Bills at Jets. You had Giants at San Fran. You had Giants home um, Monday night. I forgot who the Giants played Monday night. Seattle. You had the Jets home against Kansas City. Last night, all right, you had the Bears and the Redskins, the Commanders. The Bears have a big following with their history, but both teams not doing well. But I guess with the Justin Fields switch to it, they wanted to put them on prime time. Last week at Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is just not a team anymore. But the Steelers are the Steelers. So yes, I can see that. The Jets have 6 standalone games. Now the funny thing is, this week the Jets are supposed to be the nationally televised game on their network on Fox on CBS, I believe. They dropped it down. They're not getting the nationally televised game. Fine. I mean, who cares? We get them locally. But the schedule makers look at it. Now, as a fan, I love the 1 o'clock games. I actually like, any early game, whether it's that 12 o'clock game on a Saturday in December or 1 o'clock, because, first of all, a few things. Get up Sunday, you do your routine. I go to church, I come home, we pack the car, we go to the game. We're home by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tops. And that's after going to the game early, watching warm-ups, watching the game, meeting plays afterwards, and then the lot's empty and you just drive home. Okay? Same thing when they're away and we watch it from home. Go to church, come home, have breakfast, do some things, 1 o'clock, you make some snacks, maybe, open up a beverage. You watch the game, 4 o'clock, you're done, you do some more things in the house, you have dinner, you're home. Like this week, you have the 4:25 game. So I'm actually going into Staten Island to watch my daughter's homecoming football game, her high school's homecoming football game, which was postponed from tomorrow because of the rain, and then coming back home and then watching the game at 4:25. So kind of my day is filled. But a 4:25 game on a Sunday when I have nothing, the day kind of drags by. Then by the time the 4:25 game ends, you're looking at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and Sunday is over. Did you accomplish anything? So I always like those 1 o'clock games. Unfortunately, your team, when it's in the spotlight, will always get some primetime games, standalone games. So the Jets have 2 Monday night games. They already played 3 Monday night games, I think. They already played 2. I'm sorry, they played 1. And they have another one against the Chargers. And I think they have one against Miami, in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. I think. I'm just looking now. Maybe not. Let me just take a look. Okay, so it's six primetime games. Then the Monday night game versus Buffalo, then the Sunday night game versus the Chiefs. The next primetime game they have is Monday at home versus the Chargers. Then Sunday night the following week against the Raiders. Will that be flexed out? I don't know. It depends on, I think, where the Jets are at that point. Also where the Raiders are. I mean, they're not doing too well either. Then you have the Black Friday game against the Dolphins, and then Week 17, the week before the last week of the season, Thursday Night Football at Cleveland. Look, those away games on a Thursday night, yeah, I'll take that because I'd love to come home from work and watch it. But, I have another Monday night game after work. You have to run out to. The Black Friday game, we're all off really, so we're good with that. But I as a fan, love the 1 o'clock games, and we don't have one for a while at home. I think the next 1 o'clock game at home is against the Falcons in Week 13. The Eagle game in Week 6 is a four something game. The Giant game is actually a Giant home game. That's at 1 o'clock, and then the Dolphins at a 3 o'clock on Black Friday, and then the Falcons Week 13. So, just looking at my predictions so far this year, by this point, I said that we would be 2-2. We are 1-3. I had us beating Buffalo and the Cowboys. Remember, I thought Aaron Rodgers. This is all done before Week 1. Losing to the Patriots, which we did. Losing to the Chiefs, which we did. I have us beating the Broncos this week. So I will be doing a graphic coming soon. I can't do it today with my picks, but just looking at the picks that I did last week. So I picked 1, 2, 3, 4 games. Okay, I went 3-1. The only game I lost is I took Miami over Buffalo, getting 3 points, and Miami just got blown away by 28. So let's take a look at this week's games and my picks. And again, I know my cousin Richie said do a whiteboard, do a graphic. That is coming soon. But right now, on a Friday morning when work starts in just a few moments, I'm just going to do my picks. So first game, Tennessee at Indianapolis. Tennessee showing they can play, they can win. Indy, young quarterback, new coach and whatnot. Indy is getting 2.5. I'm taking Tennessee minus the 2.5 in Indianapolis. Cincinnati at Arizona. Cincinnati giving 3 points to the Cardinals. Cincinnati has not been able to put up points this year. The Cardinals have. The Cardinals had 28 against the Giants. They had beaten the Cowboys. I think the Cardinals win this game in Arizona. I know you're gonna have a lot of Bengal fans. They travel well, but I think the Cardinals win this. I'm gonna take them getting the 3 points at home. Baltimore at Pittsburgh, always a rivalry game, no matter what the standings are. Baltimore giving 4.5 to Pittsburgh, to the Steelers in Pittsburgh, and I think Baltimore wins this game, giving 4.5. Jets travel out to Broncos, and like I said, I always pick the Jets. They're getting 2.5 points. I'm going to take the Jets. If we see Zach Wilson play anyway, like he played last week, Jets should walk away with a win here. And I don't mean walk away with like an easy win, but I mean they should be the victorious team this week. So that's it for this week. Those are my predictions. We have Indy minus 2.5. I'm sorry, Tennessee minus 2.5 over Indy. The Cards getting 3 over Cincinnati. The Ravens minus 4.5 over the Steelers, and the Jets getting 2.5 over the Broncos. If you've been going to these games, if you've been traveling, if you we're at the Monday night game or the Sunday night game or any of the away games, let us know. Reach out to us. We can be reached on a few different platforms. Of course, Twitter at the New York Jets. At the Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. On Facebook, the Takeoff is our Facebook page. You can email us at thejetstakeoff@gmail. We are on TikTok at the Jets Takeoff. We are on Instagram at the Jets Takeoff. And of course, we are here on YouTube. You can Google it. You can look for it in YouTube itself. The account name is the Takeoff. The channel name is at the Jets Takeoff. We try to do 2 to 3 videos a week, usually a preview and a review. Anything that pops up in between, I will have breaking news. I will do that. And that's it. So reach out to us. Listen, send us some pictures. Were you there Monday night? Were you there during halftime Monday night when they honored Joe Klecko for getting into the Hall of Fame and getting his ring? And just let us know. Finally, the whole Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift circus is out of town. They're still showing pictures and memes, but they're moving on. They're out of New York, and now I believe it's Minnesota's problem. So anyway, have a great rest of your day and a great weekend, a safe weekend, a healthy weekend, a blessed weekend, however you say it. Stay safe, stay healthy, be happy, and let's talk on Monday or basically maybe even Sunday evening, depending on the schedule after the game and where I'm at about this game that the Jets and the Broncos would have played. Alrighty, take care. Once again, we are the Takeoff. Please subscribe to us, retweet, add your friends. We do not do this for money. We do this as a labor of love. We do this as a passion for the team. And we do this, if you want to call it for a therapy, a therapy.